All right, we're on our final lesson, which is always a problem-solving lesson when we work on these chapters. Today's lesson is one that we're familiar with, multiple step problems. Our essential question of the day is, how can you solve multiple step problems? All right, thank you to Danielle for sending in some more animal pet pictures. And we have Sumo and Augie featured in today's word problem. So thank you, Danielle. Danielle hired a dog walker to take Sumo and Augie for a walk with their doggy friends while she is at school. Danielle is at school Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 4 p.m. The dog walker charges $12.50 per hour. If Sumo and Augie walk for the entire time Danielle is at school, how much does Danielle pay for a week of dog walking? All right, that's a lot of information, right? That is a lot of information to take in. So we're going to, as we read this problem, and I will switch my view to show what I'm writing in just a minute. So if you're like, I can't see it yet, that's okay. You'll be able to see it in just a minute. Let's dissect this problem and write down what I know, my WIC, all right? We know that Danielle is at school Mondays and Wednesdays. So there's Monday, I'm writing Monday, and I'm writing Wednesday. I'm just gonna put an M and a W for the 2 days. With me so far, everybody?
Yeah.
What else do we know? Zoe? All right, so we know that it's going to be $12.50 on Monday, $12.50 on Tuesday per hour. So this is a little symbol per hour. All right. Then we know that Danielle is going to be at school from 12 to 4. What do we need to ask ourselves here that's not explicitly written in the problem? There's a hidden question here. Any of my Zoomies? There's a hidden question here. What do you need to ask yourself? Jaden?
What time do they walk from?
Well, we know what time they're walking from, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. What do we need to, please don't call out, Lucy. Thank you. Anyone else know my hidden question? What I need to ask myself, Sebastian? Well, we have to figure that out, right? That's one of our hidden questions for sure. How much is she paying each day, right? Well, that's one of my HQs. My hidden questions is how much per day? How much money per day? I'm gonna write that as one of my hidden questions. What else do I need to know? Zoe?
How many hours she goes to school so you can time it.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but Zoe said we need to know how many hours. We know that she's in school from 12 to 4, so let's calculate how many hours. So from 12 to 1, 1. From 1 to 2,
2.
From 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. So how many hours is that?
4.
4 hours. So I'm going to write that.
You spelled 4 wrong.
How are you supposed to spell 4?
4. For 4 hours, yes. All right. So that was a hidden question because they didn't say she goes to school for 4 hours a day. They said she's at school from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. All right? So I think we've got all the information they provided, right? If Sumo and Augie walk for the entire time Danielle is at school, how much does Danielle pay for a week of dog walking? Yes.
No, a week. It says like a week, right? And then it also just says like Monday, Wednesday, but wouldn't a week be like
7 days.
So a week would be all 7 days: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if it's only for 2 times in the week, this still falls into a week, yeah.
I thought it would be like, I don't know. I thought it'd be like more than.
You're looking for a trick question in there? Yeah, there's no trick question. It's pretty straightforward. All right, so I'm gonna take you guys off of this view and move you into speaker view so you can take a peek. I'm gonna put my lights on. Take a peek at how I've set up my notebook. This is how I would write down my information. Everything I know, I kind of made it like a schedule, right? I put my Monday and my Wednesday. I knew it was $12.50 per hour. And I know that it's going to be for 4 hours. Now, Sebastian kind of jumped ahead because he noticed that before I can solve that official how much money will Danielle spend a week, we have to find out how much it would be for just 1 day. So our HQ, our hidden question of our problem is, how much money will Danielle pay per day? We can't figure out the whole week yet until we figure out how much 1 day costs. So we know that it's $12.50 an hour for 4 hours. What operation are we going to need to use to figure out how much money Danielle will spend for Monday? Valentina?
I think, hold on, that wasn't really my thing. I just think the problem is going to be 50 times 7 maybe, because it's a week. And then,
But she's not going to do dog walking for the entire week.
oh, so
She only needs dog walking on Mondays and Wednesdays.
so you just, you 12 times 2.
Right? That's one approach. You can do 12.50 times 2, but it's per hour. So what are we going to need to figure out? It's not 12.50 per day, unfortunately. Any of my Zoomies? I saw Seraphin's hand up. Seraphin, what operation am I going to need to use to figure out 1 day?
Well, it's been to dog walking.
I know it is, right?
Wait, how much do they pay for dog walking?
Seraphin, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to think.
Oh,
Danielle, this is a rip-off.
so $12.50 an hour for 4 hours?
Multiply?
You're gonna have to multiply, right? So you're gonna have to take the $12.50, which is our official cost per hour, pretty spendy,
I know, right?
pretty spendy. And then we're going to need to multiply that by our 4 hours. All right, let's multiply. 0 times 4, 0. 4 times 5, 20, carry the 2. 4 times 2, plus 2, 10, carry the 1. 4 times 1, plus 1. Oh, you guys scare me sometimes. All right, so we get 5,000. Don't forget, 5th graders, we need to count how many decimal places are in both our factors. So 1, 2, no decimal places here. We need to have 1, 2 decimal places in our answer. Don't forget your dollar sign. So it looks like on Monday, it's going to cost her $50. And Wednesday is the same exact thing, right? So it's also going to cost her $50. Now, our final question is, how much will it cost for the entire week? So she's only getting dog walking done on both of these days. So $50 plus $50 is, everybody? Oh, wow. Wow. Is anybody looking at that number and saying, that is crazy? All right, so it's going to cost her $100 if she wants to get her dogs walked twice a week for 4 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that might be the going rate. You're basically asking for babysitting for 8 hours a week. Think about it. I know, but it's still 8 hours of babysitting, right? Dog sitting. All right, so let's All right, so $100 for the week for dog walking for her 2 dogs. That's pretty pricey. I know. That's what happens when you have a fur baby. Alrighty, so you see that when you're taking a multiple step problem, you're going to have more than one operation. You're going to have to find your hidden question. What did they not explicitly ask me in the question that I need to solve? In this case, the first thing I needed to solve, I had to figure out how many hours a day. From 12 to 4, okay, I knew that was 4 hours. So that was the first thing I had to ask myself before solving the final question. The next thing I had to figure out was, how much did it cost per day? Went Monday and on Wednesday. Then after I solved all of those mini hidden questions, I can go to my final question and use addition to find out the total amount for the week. Does everybody see how you have to dissect a big problem like that? But it is helpful if you write all of your information out and kind of have a guide for yourself, because you can work and build your equations from there. Yes, Kai?
But can't it be $200 because they didn't specifically say for $150 for 4 hours for both dogs.
Oh, that's a very good question. What about the fact that there are 2 dogs?
Yeah.
If they're charging per dog, and that might be where we have dum 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 missing info. Sometimes you don't have all of the information you need to 100% solve. So in the problem, we did get a flat rate, luckily. They didn't say per dog, so luckily it will still be $100. But this might be something that if we were actually hiring a dog walker, we would want to clarify so we don't accidentally get a bill for $200. Because
Maybe each dog is $6.25.
all right, so that's actually a really, was anybody else, any Zoomies thinking the same thing? Is that per dog? No, nobody else? You were all thinking innocently like me. They would never jip me into paying $200. All right, let's move on.
Per dog, it would be $700 a month. That's more than most.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, let's move on. All right, we're working on the problems on 160. Let's read the first one. And as we read together, you should be writing down kind of a cheat sheet for yourself, right, of the information that you know. So you should be writing as you read any key numbers, phrases, details that you will need to set up your equation. So as I'm reading, I'm going to write and see what information I need. Nancy wants to transfer 11 movies. I'm just going to write 11 movies. Might need that, might not. I can always erase it later if I don't. To her 8 gigabyte memory card. All right. So far, that's all I have written so far. Just short little details for myself. Each, I hear a clue word already. Each movie is 25/100ths of a gigabyte. Now you can write your notes the way I do. I put shorthand for myself because I don't want to rewrite the entire problem. So this means 25/100 gigabytes per movie. And she already used, so hopefully you know what operation you're going to need for used. You know what operation you need for per. These are all clue words, right? Used 4 3/10 gigabytes of her memory card.
Multiplication.
Ooh. How much free space will she have left on the card after she transfers the movies? So I'm going to put my wink, what I need to know. And that's how many gigabytes left.
Wait, what?
All right. Is everybody with me? So I know there's a little glare. We get that no matter where I am, classroom or at home. The sun does not like whiteboards. Actually, whiteboards do not like any kind of light. Sunlight, fluorescent lights.
Then why are they white?
I don't know. All right, moving on.
You can think of math.
Shh. Hey, when I went to school, there were chalkboards, not whiteboards, so just saying. All righty, moving on. So here's our wink. Wink, wink. What I need to know. How many gigabytes are left? Obviously, I can't just jump to that question. There's a few other things I need to ask myself and figure out before that. Does anybody know what the very first thing I need to figure out is?
How many gigabytes are you gonna use?
Well, we want to know how many are left. So let's review the details we have written here. She has 11 movies she wants to download, right? The memory card that she has a total of 8 gigabytes. So our starting gigabytes is 8. That's what we started with. Are you all with me? That's the very first card she has 8 gigabytes. Each movie is 25 hundredths of a gigabyte. So we know that there are 11 movies she wants to download. There are 25 hundredths of a gigabyte per movie. So far, do you have a question that popped into your head? Just knowing that there are 11 movies, there are 25 hundredths of a gigabyte per movie. When you hear that word, that gives you an operation. Sinjin.
Okay, the question is how many gigabytes will all the movies take?
Exactly. The very first question I need to ask myself, my first HQ hidden question is, how many gigabytes will 11 movies take up? So let's put that as one of our hidden questions. HQ. How many gigabytes for 11 movies?
But how are we supposed to know that?
Well, we know that there's 25 hundredths of a gigabyte per movie. There are 11 movies. What operation are we going to need to use? I need a Zoomy to respond to me. Zoomy, how will I figure that out? Zoomies. Dominic?
Multiplication.
Multiply. So let's take 25 hundredths of a gigabyte times 11 movies. And I'm going to write my work over here. I'm going to put my 25 hundredths up top because I've got 3 digits. And I'm going to put my 11 down below. Let's multiply. Remember when you're multiplying, you don't have to worry about that decimal point until the end. So it's really going to be 25 times 11. Does everybody see
Delete it.
that? Okay, 25 times 11. Let's work it out. 5 times 1, 5. 2 times 1, 2. 0 times 1, 0. Drop your egg. 1 times 5. 1 times 2. 1 times 0. Now let's add our partial products. 5, 7, 2, 0. And now we need to worry about that decimal point. How many decimal places are there? 1, 2. 1, 2. Our decimal point goes between the 2 and the 7. I'm going to drop the 0 because it's not going to change or affect my answer at all. So if we solve this HQ, how many gigabytes for 11 movies?
2 and 7,500.
All right.
72 and 7,500 grams.
Gigabyte. Yay! Now, again, we started with 8 gigabytes. So, laptop? Yep. All right, so we're using 2 and 75 hundredths, but that's not all we're using, is it? We use this piece of information, done. We use this piece of information, done. We have one more piece of information left. What else are we going to need to ask ourselves now?
Subtraction.
Yes, you may. I'm looking for a Zoomy. Julian, what's one last thing we need to ask ourselves? We still have one piece of information left. We used 4 3/10 gigabytes. What does that mean if I used it?
You have to add up 2 75/100ths plus 4 3/10.
Yeah, that's certainly one way we could do this, right? We know, fifth graders, that when you use an amount, you started with 8. If I use an amount, I'm going to have to subtract. Thank you, Zoe. Now, there are 2 ways that we could do this. Julian just mentioned one. We know that we're going to have to figure out for our final question how many gigabytes are left. We know that, and I forgot the person's name, Nancy. We know that Nancy used 4 3/10 gigabytes, which means if she used that, we no longer have 8 to begin with. We're going to have to subtract, that's what used means, subtract the 4 3/10 gigabytes. But we're also taking away what else? The 11 movies. So we're also going to need to subtract, we're going to have to subtract the 2 75/100 gigabytes. Julian had a really good idea though. If you're going to have to subtract both of these amounts from the memory card, Julian suggested why not add these amounts first and subtract the total altogether. Does everybody see why that would work? Because you have the 8 gigabytes, you're going to have to take away the 4 3/10, and you're going to have to take away the 2 75/100ths of a gigabyte. So what you could do is combine these two and take them away all at once. You are also welcome to subtract them one at a time. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. Yes, Zoe?
Why would you subtract the movies?
Because Nancy wants to know how much gigabytes she has left after she uses all of this memory. All right? So I'm going to erase this so we have a little more space on my page. We started off with 8 gigabytes.
I have a question.
We used 4 3/10 already, and then we're going to use another 2 75/100ths gigabytes for those movies, those 11 movies she wanted to add on. So we're going to have to subtract this. I like Julian's idea. I think we should, instead of subtracting them one at a time, let's combine this total first and then subtract it. You are welcome to subtract it one at a time if you want. That's up to you. You're going to get the same answer. I'm going to go with Julian's advice, and I'm going to combine these two. So let's add it. I'm going to write it vertically, 4 3/10, and don't mix up your adding and subtract and multiplication. Remember, when you add or subtract, you must line up your decimal points. 4 3/10, and the 2 goes under the 4. The 7 goes under the 3. We're going to annex a 0. Drop your decimal down. And let's add 0 plus 5, 5. 3 plus 7, 9. 4 plus 9. 6. We are not.
7 is 10.
Oh.
I said 10.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My apologies. 10, carry the 1. And now in 4 plus 1 plus 3, 2.
It's Sevion.
All right, so we're not done though. Now we have found out how many gigabytes she used altogether. She used 7 5/100 gigabytes. She started with an 8 gigabyte card. We still need to figure out if she used all of this, how much memory is left. Not a lot, right? Not a lot. So let's take the 8 gigabytes that she started with and let's subtract the 7 5/10. Line up your decimal points. 8 decimal, 7 decimal, 0, 5. Annex 2 zeros, and let's drop your decimal down, and we're ready to subtract. Yes, Kai? All right, help me out. What do we get?
You get 9 0, and then you subtract from 9 and 5 from 4, and then 0 next to it goes 10. Then you drop the 0.
Yeah. Exactly. So we borrow from the 8, which becomes a 7. This becomes a 10. You borrow from the 10, it becomes a 9. The 10 to 0 becomes a 10. We get 5, 9, 0. So there's going to be 95 hundredths of a gigabyte left.
Yes.
So 95 hundredths of a gigabyte of memory left. Woohoo!
That's
That's a
barely
lot,
anything.
huh?
Yeah, what movies is Nancy watching? What movies is?
Hold on, I have a question from Azumi too. Hold on. Yes, Dominic?
What kind of movies is Nancy watching, man? That's a lot.
Well, I mean, you're downloading an entire movie onto a memory card. That's gonna take up a lot of space.
Yeah, but like 11 movies. Like, is this like an entire like movie set?
All right.
It's like
Any other
Disney
questions?
Plus, but you download.
Mhm.
So I estimated and I
One
only
second. Number 5, a 3-pound bag of apples. 3-pound bag of apples costs $3.75. A 2-pound bag of apples costs $2.58. I'm writing as I read, just using shorthand. All right. If you want to spend as little as possible to buy 6 pounds of apples,
Why would you buy 6 pounds of apples?
some people like making smoothies with apples.
I love apples. I just love eating.
How should you buy them? All right, so you're right. Listen, excuse me. Please listen. Thank you. So I can either buy apples 3 pounds at a time for $3.75, or I can buy apples 2 pounds at a time for $2.58. I want to know which one is the better deal if I need to buy 6 pounds. So what do I need to figure out first? What do I need, Maisie, what do I need to figure out first? Before I can figure out which is a better deal.
I think you need to figure out which combination, like 2 times 3 or 3 times 2 costs less.
Exactly. 5th graders, they only told us for 3 pounds and 2 pounds. I need to figure out how much it costs for 6 pounds of each. So if I'm buying 3-pound bags and I need 6 pounds, how many 3-pound bags am I going to need to buy? 2. So I'm going to have to do 2 times this amount. If I'm buying the 2-pound bags, how many bags do I need to buy? Jordan? 3. So far, I have that step done. Good. I answered my first HQ. Now what do I have to do? Yes.
I think you would have to, find out, add them.
I'm not adding quite yet. Anyone? Jordan's on a roll. Yeah, Jordan, what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to multiply by the money. So 2 3-pound bags, that means it's $3.75 times 2. For the 3 2-pound bags, it's going to be $2.58 times 3. Now let's figure out how much the 6 pounds will cost. So let's line up our work vertically. We do not need to line up our decimals because we're multiplying. $3.75 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the times 7. 2 times 7, 14 plus 1, 15. 2 times 3 plus 1.
6 plus 7.
And 1, 2 decimal places. So our first 3-pound bags will cost $7.50 for 6 pounds. let's figure out how much 3 2-pound bags will cost. $2.58 times 3. 8 times 3?
Okay, I didn't see the 7 that you wrote on the 750
Oh,
on the multiplication problem. I didn't see the 2 part.
yeah, my marker's dying a little, sorry. All right, 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 5 is
3 times.
plus 2. 17, carry the 1. 3 times 2 plus 1. And then 1, 2 decimal places. So if I buy it 2 pounds at a time, it will cost $7.74. So which way would be more cost effective? Zoe? Right. Well, not the second one. 2 times. Right, I would have to buy the 2 3-pound bags instead of 3 2-pound bags. Exactly. Does everybody see how we did that? Yes? Give me one
We
second.
are way past our time.
Yes, okay. You are good to go. Good luck with this. I will remember reading star test next period.